I'm not going to worry about this.
No, yeah, if you want to put it behind.
I was just panicking that I'd got it right in front of me. Like,
I mean, I think we're live.
I think we are.
That's us.
It always goes live before it tells us anyway. So there's always this sneaky preview of us chatting or just updating our status.
I'm worried they're going to catch some really like
crazy stuff.
So we do some weird stuff right before it. It's an imagination that goes wild.
Hey, Kat. I was just talking about you, saying, I hear you girls are going skating again this week.
Yes. Tomorrow.
And I love your little video that you sent to us earlier. Oops. With the list of things that you were doing all at the same time. I think only an AD. Oh, no sound. Why is there no sound?
Why? There should be sound. Why is there no sound? Is there still no sound?
There, talk now. Let me, are you doing the same? Doing the sound check?
Yeah.
It's a good job you're there, Kat.
The sound. Might be you, Kat. I can hear us.
Let me,
Panic.
Let me check. Yeah, definitely sound on this.
You okay, Kat? Please be okay, because we've got your video to show. It's loaded there.
Yeah, I think that's a really relatable ADHD thing, though. And the only reason I'm saying that is because a lot of feedback I hear about ADHDers when they first try meds is that they suddenly streamline and they're doing just one job start to finish instead of multiple jobs all at the same time and kind of completing them across the day.
Yeah, I think it kind of, if you've ever heard someone say like, oh, you're just getting that just so you can get like free speed. And it's like, if you don't have ADHD, then yeah, you'll probably attack it and just try to do everything at once and maybe achieve all of it within the time that you've given yourself. But it's not the same for people with ADHD. It literally enables you to put things in the right order, prioritize, so you work out which of those things is important, which needs to be done right now, which can be left till later. And yeah, it
very much feels like if I know I've got I wake up and even now when I've got lots of things to say, it's doing the same thing. Got Kat saying she can't hear us, which is distracting.
That's I can hear us through the test.
Yeah, I can hear us too. Lou says I have sound. That's
okay. Lou
promising.
Can hear us.
Kat, it might be your volume button. Oh, actually, she's not going to know. I'm just kidding. Whilst Steph is just getting in touch with Pat and asking her if it's her volume, I'll just complete the thought that I was saying, which kind of demonstrates exactly my point that I'm trying to make. That when we're thinking so many things at once, and it's the same if you've got so many tasks to do at once, it reminds me of that bottlenecking almost, like where there's a straw and everything's trying to get through that at once and getting jammed. And it's like, oh my God, I know all the things I want to do and they're all right there, but it won't just allow one to come through at a time.
That's exactly it. Have you ever been stuck in an ADHD glitch? Where you've got so much you need to do. It's often when you're so stressed.
Yeah.
And you're so rushed and often like running to a time schedule that you're very late for. And you're stuck.
Yeah.
On the spot.
Yeah. And you kind of just need to do one thing and it'll break me out of this cycle. Yeah.
And that's that executive function, right? Imagine that person is like a little admin assistant of your own, a little personal assistant that's just there that will just guide you in that moment. Just go, put them things down, turn that way, off you go, do that job. And you're like, okay, I can manage that.
See, this is ringing bells in terms of like a lot of my best friends over the years have been very logical, organised people. Okay, almost like the opposite end of the same spectrum type thing. And that's obviously why, isn't it? Because you attracted to those people that have got the strengths that you lack. So please help me organise myself.
And these people that are really good at planning and schedules, they are fascinated at people that are just so messy with it. And I think to a point where they wish, to a slight part, that they were like that themselves.
Yeah.
It's always like, I always wished I had really curly hair, whereas I know people with curly hair always wish they had
Yeah,
straight hair.
yeah.
It's just
Maybe, yeah, the ones that can schedule really well wish they could let go of that sometimes and just go with the flow, but
exactly.
but they physically can't. So it's like we balance each other out.
That structure's quite controlling at some points, isn't it?
Yeah.
They're like, even when they benefit you, you can see in some parts where they do restrict you. They do make life a little bit less.
Yeah, free flowing and less fun.
Yeah, definitely.
I know that the Flamingo AF girls were talking about that Lily's very kind of fly away and disorganized and chaotic, and then Steph's very organized and has a spreadsheet for everything. But
Yeah.
when something crazy happens that means that the schedule gets thrown out of the window, it's Lily that helps Steph cope with it. So it's like, again, they just complement each other with their two different styles.
It's a perfect work.
Yeah.
Like, you're a force to be reckoned with, a duo to be reckoned
A
with.
yin and a yang.
Yeah, definitely. I think we're kind of like that as well.
Yeah,
though.
definitely. We said that to them when we had that conversation, didn't we? That if one of us is going into meltdown, the other one's totally on the ball and vice
Strangely
versa.
calm.
Yeah, yeah. Thank God.
I always think to the 12-hour stream before it had even started, the website not working.
Oh yeah.
And it just being like, why does nothing work? It went down to like, we were like 10 minutes away, and I'm like, I don't know if this is going to happen.
If we're even going to go online, yeah. Well, I was just so deflated. I just didn't know if I could, like, usually I can mask anything, years and years of practice, hiding how you really feel.
Yeah.
But at that point, there was something in me that had just, like, curled up and gone. And I was like, I don't know whether I can pull through this.
We all have that tipping point, don't we? We all have that last straw and it was just so much. The pressure of being able to do it. I think the idea of, oh my God, I've still got 12 hours ahead of me, we've not started yet.
Yeah.
And everything we've set up to make this like the stream that it was supposed to be, like the charity fundraiser.
Website didn't work.
There was nowhere for anyone to donate.
Oh God, it was devastating.
Yeah, can you imagine if we'd known in that time that 3 of the guests weren't going to have had their mics working, that you weren't going to have done any of the challenges that you're going to do.
Good. But we didn't know all that at that time.
Still had a wicked time.
Yeah, definitely. It's definitely that childbirth analogy of, oh, it's great, I'll do it all again. Because I've not remembered the painful parts. I mean, even I'd forgot that meltdown, so you just mentioned it. I've just remembered the good bits.
Can you remember the end of it? I remember it was like the last hour. We had like a group of maybe like 6 still watching. I remember there was James Graham, shout out. There was a few people.
Loz and his mate.
A few of your students.
Yeah, Hope was doing an all-nighter.
And they're there just like willing us on. We were like, oh, and it got to the point when it was ended, a part of me was like,
oh, I wish we were doing more, yeah.
Is that it? We're dead now.
It reminded me of those people how they must feel at the end of a marathon, where you've got that final team like winning you over the finish line.
The endorphins are just going. You're like, I could run another mile. I mean, I won't speak for people that have done marathons, but I imagine psychologically it's very similar.
Oh my gosh, yeah. Hats off to you guys. 10K is the most I've ever done, and the most I'd ever like to do as well.
Do you know what? I don't know how. I think the most I've ever run is during PE, and I don't think they ever made you run too far. So that's terrible, isn't it?
I saw this really cool post the other week about this girl that had ran her first marathon in, say, 2017, and there was this picture of her. Then she had done it again in 2018 or 19, and then like by 2021 or whatever, she had started to get like placed, like it was like 116th out of all women that ran it.
Man.
And then the most recent one, she was like in the top 10 or the top 20, and the progression in terms of how she looked as well, she looked like a marathon runner by and it just made me think, everyone's got to start somewhere, and it's never too ridiculous. Your dreams are never too big. As
so much of this age limit on us, don't we?
Yeah.
And you know what? I've been doing that since I was a kid. I remember being about 8 years old, looking at kids that had been dancing since they were like 4.
Yeah.
And even at that age, being like, oh, I'll never be as like good as them. Yeah. I'm not like.
If only I'd started when they did, kind of thing.
2 years old.
Yeah. too smart for your own good. There, you're putting them limitations on yourself, even at 8.
Too self-critical for my own good, I think. Like, oh, I'll just never be able to do that. And that leads to me now at the age of 32. I'll be in July. Sorry, just have a moment. That realisation.
Early 30s still. It's fine.
It just, I still look young.
Yeah.
And yeah, I look even younger on my roller skates. They came, I've been on them.
Excellent. And that is a perfect example, isn't it? Because people all say, oh, well, if you can't skate, you know, what is it? What's that saying about you can't teach an old dog to suck eggs or something like that?
You can't teach an old dog new tricks, but then you can't teach an old lady to suck eggs.
Oh, okay. So I'm like mixing it. Can't teach an old dog to suck eggs.
Yeah, I've only ever heard old women say it. Can you teach me how to suck eggs? As in, like, I know how to do it.
Or, yeah, it's never too late, or that it is too late. Yeah, you can't teach an old dog new tricks. It is putting
Yes.
limitations on, isn't it? It's saying that, you know, oh, just don't worry about it, you're too old now. But I don't believe in that. I think you
No.
can start anything at any age.
Definitely. Some of the, if you look at like young acting older people, it's hard to like put it into perspective because it's like what is
Yeah.
old? But there's people that are like dancers. I don't know if you've seen that gymnast that's like in her 90s. She always pops up on my YouTube. But she just does these like insane gymnast routines on like the bars, on like rings. And then she gets down and she's just like, well, just looks like my nana. And you're like, oh,
Yeah, like it doesn't
yeah.
compute kind of thing. How
It's
is that possible?
all in the mind. There's like women that dress younger, like more flamboyantly, like they're not like, oh, I need to wear a certain dress code because I'm past a certain age now.
I definitely read somewhere before I'd turned 30 that you're not allowed to wear hot pants once you become 30. And I'm nearly 40 now, and I definitely still wear hot pants, so
But my bum looks so good in them.
I am breaking those rules.
Yeah, I am. I'm honestly in the realm of wear whatever you like. As long as I can't see straight down your vagina. Wait, it might be a bit early saying that. 13 minutes, we're good. As long as, do you know what I mean? As long as you're not winking at me, then we should be fine.
See, we had this like conversation on the beach last year about whether thong bikinis should be allowed, and then it kind of moved on to more who should be allowed to wear a thong bikini. So, but then just full stop whether they should be allowed.
So license holder, bikini, thong.
Yeah, and I'm very much just, if you don't like it, don't look. You know, it's not up to you to judge a body and say they've not got a good enough body to wear that. You know,
There's this whole beach for you to look at.
yeah, and I'm much more, you know, just open minded, and this whole idea of what beauty is, whatever. But anyway, later on that day, I had a photo. Now, I'd lost quite a lot of weight last year from the year before because I'd not been drinking. So I was like feeling really confident in my bikini. I really wanted this, like, you know, nice photo on the beach in my bikini. And I have this photo taken, and next to my like head, but in the sea, is this huge bare butt that's in a thong bikini, and it's like the biggest, squarest butt ever. Like, it's not an attractive one by my standards.
By your own standards,
Yeah,
you're saying
my
they're not
opinion.
attractive
Yeah,
personally.
yeah, and oh my god, everyone was just shredding me because they were like, "Ooh, how do you feel about it now?" I mean, luckily cameras have got that thing now where you just remove object, don't you?
Mate, if I've got a woman that's bigger than me stood next to me in a picture, like, thank you.
So happy.
Like,
like a comparison.
yeah, thank you, Queen.
It's and do you know what? It's a humorous photo because it is so, I'm so like posing, and then it's really not a what's the word, like complimentary kind of picture of the person either. And I mean,
Yeah, they don't want to be in that picture either, I'm sure.
Yeah, you can't see them; they're facing the other direction. But I just couldn't bring myself to share it, even on a jokey matter, because I just thought it is body shaming at the end of the day, even though it's funny. So.
Yeah, it might go out as like some sort of posting revenge porn. I don't know how it's revenge just because she ruined your picture.
Yeah, ruined my picture. But I mean, it was, for me, what I'm getting at, it was more like the karma that I was like, anybody can wear whatever they want, and then it was like, except for when they're ruining my photo.
How'd you like it now?
Yeah,
and there you go. That's
yeah, but be careful about wearing a thong bikinis. You might end up in somebody else's photo that you don't want to.
Yeah, run it by Lindsay first. Send her a picture. Just be like, here's my profile.
Oh god, yeah, I've just opened a whole can of worms now. So let's just draw a line under that and move on.
Draw a line. That's a good place to draw a line as well, because it was your birthday yesterday.
It was.
Oh,
37 years young.
can we just have a moment for the 37? How did your face look like that at 37? I mean, besides your mum looking 37.
My mum looks amazing. That's definitely good genes. But I think maybe it's just that as we get older, we don't really. Because I reckon if you asked my young students who are young, they'd be like, oh, she's well old, you know.
It is perspective.
Yeah,
isn't it?
it is. Like, I don't know. It always just mind boggles me to think how because my mum, when she was 37, sorry, I would have been 18 years old. So
Wow.
that blows my mind because I remember my mum at that age.
Yeah.
And although she looked young and she looked amazing, in my mind, she was like, you know, old as it were.
Yeah.
She's my mum. And now to know that I'm that age, it's like, what?
It's weird, isn't it?
Yeah.
We were just saying, like, because a few years now and it'll be your 40th. I remember my mum's 40th.
Yeah.
And it was in the back garden and she let me drink. I wasn't supposed to.
Yeah.
I was drinking. A bit.
Now your mates are turning 40, like.
It's just like, it's really cool though, because I think the more I approach these types of ages, the more I get like this fear of like, oh my god, my life's over. And I reach it and I'm like, wait, I've got one more wrinkle. Okay.
Yeah.
I still feel
So
exactly the same mentally.
Yeah.
If not, a little bit like I give less of a crap about stuff that's not important.
Confidence boost as you get older, the genuine, secure confidence that comes through is real.
That used to hold me back. You know, even in like tea and coffee going down like a airport.
Yeah.
Not an airport, in a plane or something.
Yeah, in the aisle.
The idea of like having to plan and wait to like naturally feel like I'm going, yes, please, at the right time, and not like worried that I'm missing them or like. And now the contrast to that is like they arrive, they alert me, and I'm like, oh yes, can I have this, please? And that's just a really small, unique example that I can think of right now. But so much time and brain capacity was spent thinking about like, oh, how do I do this correctly? How do I do this without people thinking I'm weird? How do I do this? And just letting that go, you realise like you're not that weird. Two, if you are like,
you're not
whatever.
so self-conscious about it anymore, kind of thing. It's like, oh, so what if they think that?
Yeah. Now I'm like, confront me, go for it. That's the worst thing that could happen, and now I'm ready for it. Tell me, why am I weird?
I was gonna say the whole like, I'd be interested to know how many people relate to that, because for me, that's where I've always, my autism is apparent in the sense that the amount of self-talk going on behind the scenes of, look at how normal you're acting, well done, keep it up, you know, like, and then that realization that other people don't have to even have, they just be normal, they don't even have to think about when's the right time. When's the right time to say this, and you know, when's the normal time to do that. That's because we're neurodivergent and we're like, oh god, how do I fit into these social constructs that I can't quite work out? What are the rules here?
What are the rules? What rules? They're so confusing. There's moral rules, then there's law rules, and then there's bits in between where it's so like grey area.
There's rules you're meant to just know. We just don't do that. What do you mean we just don't do that?
Give me an unspoken rule. Speak about it so I know.
Yeah, exactly.
I just don't have a clue.
Again, this is why I love small talk, because they're very definite rules. Like, as in, if I've got to maintain a conversation with a stranger, it's like, okay, ask about the weather, ask if they're planning on to go on holiday this year, ask if they're busy today, you know, like, and then when that runs out, it's like straight in on the special interest. Do you want to know my beliefs about the universe?
Yeah, I've got very small room for small chat. I cannot stand it. I know you pride yourself on being good at that, don't you? Until it runs out.
Yeah, and that's only with strangers. I wouldn't, once you know me, I'm going straight in on the hard stuff every time you see me.
It's a confusing old way of communicating as humans, and that's not just neurodivergence. Neurotypicals, they struggle too. My god, the amount of strange conversation styles I have to meet with neurotypicals. Yeah, like, really, this works for you?
Yeah, maybe it's just our perspective. It's like,
maybe.
Yeah, but that. We're going to be talking about mental health this as I say, this week. But yeah, it is kind of like this episode.
This whole week.
Yeah, and mental health. Although neurodivergence is more likely to suffer with poor mental health affects everybody.
No one is safe.
No, especially in this crazy world.
So I think that I want to play a little video. It's really little, just because it's from your birthday, and I think it will get us into the idea of. But first of all, we need to separate this cake. So while I'm showing the video,
and then we're eating some cake. Oh my god, not good. Can I explain what's going on here?
I think you should. Okay. You don't need to react to this. It's already like, what is happening?
Yeah, what is happening there? Like, I got accosted.
So seconds before this, stage invader, shout out, a gentleman, an entertainer, jumped off the stage at the Flamingo AF party, and I suppose I should.
Oh, I was looking at mine when I was getting ready. I was like, can I get away with my sweatband? Yeah. The tube. Oh, the fan. Excellent.
Fun. Yeah. So this gentleman jumped off the stage. He was feeling himself by at this point. Your face kills me. He goes up to this lady. Your face.
What's going on?
It's a moment of what? And it's like, alright, I'll just have fun with it.
Yeah, that is literally what went through my head. Like, just go with it, kind of thing. Because the funny thing was, I'd just been saying to Lou, "Oh, for God's sake, he's loving this." Like, because
He really is, even still.
well,
Close.
everyone was like going wild for him. I had my back to him, going, "Oh, everybody's loving this." It's giving him far too much attention. I'm over it now. And then the next thing you know, I just felt him like pounce on me from behind.
Yeah, you got attacked from the back.
That guy sensed that I was not bothered, and he was like, "How dare you turn your back on me? I will make you watch me."
That is exactly the same as a woman being into a guy that's like not really that into her. You're like, I will prove it, just out of your own silly thing. He saw her and was like, this whole room is loving me, apart from this one girl who's not facing me.
Yeah, so I'm going to make her want me.
She's the only one I want.
At least I do get around them and go, "Hey, okay."
Just like, I know it all happened real quick, right?
It was, oh my God, that's
Yeah,
looks so awful.
just like, it's just like a bit of fun. The fact you're wearing shorts right now is the only reason you're not pregnant today.
Thank gosh.
Did you
for that?
anything?
Yeah, he's helpless thrusting into my.
Is he like
And
so fast? One last time. Just way quicker than you would normally scoot across that.
I'm like looking around like, what was that?
Edit. How do I avoid it again?
Yeah, what happened there?
That made me laugh. Hannah's laughing. The cat loving it. I was loving it. That was so funny, girls. When I was dying. But
well, it was my birthday after all, or my birthday celebration.
Edit. Lou was killing me. She said to one of them who brought the stripper.
I know, she was like, "Is he a stripper?" They were like, "No." Well, he's acting like one. No, stop it.
There were some really cool moments, and I thought I'd just play video roulette from the night.
Excellent.
While we eat some cake. And you know what? You can pick them.
Oh gosh.
If you sent me anything in the chat that's riskier than it.
Okay, let's go with this. See what's happening.
Oh, let me put the
Get even more stains all on my book.
Right, you went for this one.
Yeah.
It's not compatible now. The music is, apparently. Okay, never mind. That was a fun idea, but throw some pictures instead. Do you know the Flamingo AF girls? Steph and Lily, they are both, they run a alcohol-free events company, and they are so supportive to the sober community, the flockers, that they celebrate.
Wicked, aren't they? They're so like friendly. Every time we go to these parties, it's like returning to a little family.
It really is, and each time, you know, I went back through some old pictures from the first time we went.
Oh yeah.
There's barely any of us dancing. A little bit towards the end, but like we very much stayed off towards the side.
We did.
It was like, okay, and that's done. Do you think we should go now? Okay. And it was fun, but it was overwhelming. But every time we've been, it's been more like, okay, I found myself to the point this time there was no nerves.
No.
And like I said, I don't know if it was because we brought the girls,
We should probably mention, for Lily and Steph's sake, that the reason that they're wearing a full tracksuit is because it was through the ages. So it started off with the 70s, then went to the 80s, and then went to the 90s.
Yeah, that was during the 90s part, right?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, so we'd obviously already gone with a theme, but yeah, that was their 90s outfit, which I realised. So I'd got the same trackers. I was wearing them last week on last week's podcast as what Steph was wearing.
Oh, very
Palmer's
cool.
ones. And at first I was like, you look incredible. Like, she's been doing lots of running, and like her body looks like amazing kind of thing. She looks so healthy.
I saw she's been running, yeah. Long distance.
So I was like, you look incredible. You can really tell that, like, you know, the running's paying off and all the rest of it. And then I was like, I love your trackers. I've got them in purple. They're wicked, aren't they? And you could see her, like, at first, like, she probably doesn't wear proper Adidas trackers as a norm. Just they were her fancy dress outfit.
It's making me think back to when she was trying them on. She's like, we would wear these.
Them, like, here's the other thing. I'm 37. I still dress like a 17.
To be fair, it was very loud in there. There was a good chance that she didn't fully hear what you said, or
maybe we'll see.
That's funny.
Yeah. It was only, but it wasn't at the time. I didn't kind of put it together. But after, I thought, oh my god, I think it was. She was probably just like, what, you've got the? Because I was like, they're well cool, and they. You could see her thinking, no.
They make me laugh when, like, you know, they're passing the mic back to each other, just like, what's happening now? Oh, I think this is happening, and then the other one will grab and go, no, it's not. And then like, what was happening? And then eventually, Elements Girl Band shout out. She got the mic and was just like, should we just say goodnight to everyone? Should we just like, we'll say another bit of songs or whatever, and then maybe we've got something else. Gather yourselves, guys. But it just makes me like, yes, because we're so scatterbrained. We've got it becomes a headache sometimes, and it's just knowing that, you know, if they can do it, we don't need to be perfect, pristine. They can have a leak in their bathroom, and still everyone has the best time.
And even they said before, didn't they, that when you're being interviewed and you go silent, you know, that's a really cool photo.
Shout out Tourmaline Queen in the background as well.
Oh, wicked!
She spanned the wheel to pick next time's theme. Tourmaline Queen. What's her name? Sarah.
Yeah, I totally didn't see her a bit right behind us there and there.
Nor did I. It was only when I was going through. I had the video of her spinning the wheel that I wanted to show, but
the theme. Oh yeah, so I'm having that brain thing now where everything's clogging up in my head. Like, I've got so many things to say and I can't get any of them out. The theme for the next one is 90s versus noughties, and tickets are already over 50% sold.
Oh my god.
Yeah.
So you're gonna have to start getting a
bigger venue
at some point.
I know. Yeah. So yeah, if you are interested in the September the 28th sober party, which I cannot recommend enough.
September 28th. That's autumn time. It's already my favourite time of year.
Yeah, I did think. Imagine, I already can visualise it's going to be quite a sunny day, a warm sunny day, and that park opposite it's going to be like full of life again. How it was this time. It was really nice, wasn't it?
Oh god, yeah. It's lovely.
I'd like to spend the night there.
The venue's awesome, and also, Love From do a solo pre-meet if you come on your own. And we saw the train coming from last time. He's leading the front with his umbrella, just like waving at everyone, and then like it felt like 1,000 women behind him. And men actually.
And men,
gentlemen.
This time as well, wasn't it? Which was good.
It was really awesome to see.
So this is why I'd like to go to Manchester for the full weekend, because I really want to go to the Love From cocktail bar. But the thing is, we travel down there on the day. It starts at 1. Even when we leave out at like 9:30 in the morning, we're still only just getting there with enough time to kind of get to the party for it starting. And then when you finish at 5, we've got to get back on the road again, haven't we? Really, it's like, I know we could go and check out the cocktail bar after that, but it's quite a long and tiring day. It's like you need to be there, go there on the Sunday.
Maybe the answer is to go. Oh, I don't know.
I know.
Maybe the night before.
Yeah. Oh yeah. Go for the warm up drinks at Love From. Yeah.
Yeah, because if it's the getting early and ready in there, because by the time we're leaving to go there, it's like I had to get up at 6:30
Yeah.
to get ready.
That's the thing, I was exhausted. Like, I'm tired tonight still from the weekend being so busy.
You must be so knackered.
Yeah, because I've been like Sunday celebrating my birthday with family. Monday I had friends come round. Tuesday with family last night. And obviously this tonight, going to see a friend tomorrow.
You popular girl. Everyone wants to see you.
I know.
This cake is good.
It's lovely. It's really nice. I wolfed mine down.
I was like, I should really be focusing on doing the podcast. I was like, just one more bite.
Well, the other thing that I was going to say, though, that again, I just stopped halfway through, the things that I just remember when I get home, like you didn't finish that sentence either, was Lily said, didn't she, that when we interviewed them on the 12-hour one, that when you're on stage or you're being interviewed for the news or something like that, and you're thinking as you're going and your brain's a bit of a buzz and you stop to think and it feels like a whole day passes and you're like, just talk, and then you carry on talking. Yeah. But then when you watch it back, it's barely a pause and it's like, it just feels so much worse to you.
Yeah.
It's like even on the 12-hour stream, there was moments, weren't there, where we were like, oh God, that was awful or whatever. But then the feedback was so lovely from everybody. It's like nobody's noticing those moments or whatever it is that's played on your mind.
I've learned so much from just watching other people's podcasts that, like, again, stand-up teaches you as well. You only bail when you say you've bailed. You know, if I'm making technical errors, all it has to take is for you to be next to me being like, oh, for God's sake, again, you know, take the mick out of me.
Yeah.
We can all take the mick out of me. Like, it doesn't have to be a moment. It doesn't have to be and I think our default is to go to that first.
Yeah.
Like, oh no.
We're going to get shouted at.
By who? YouTube gods.
Or, luckily, one of our other defaults is to make jokes, and we're quite self-deprecating naturally as people. I think that's a neurodivergent trait where it's like you learn to laugh at yourself quite quickly. Otherwise, you're going to be highly stressed.
I need that part of my ego really like protected. Actually, if you tell me I'm funny, by the way, you might have like won me over for life. I could be like, I hate it. Andrew Tate was like, you're kind of funny. I might be like,
quite lost.
I'm joking.
You've said his name again. I'm sure that's what we always end up getting.
Oh yeah, I won't say what I was going to say after then.
We do not support this person, in case you're picking up on that part as well, algorithm. Thanks.
We disavow whatever that person says.
So, Mental Health Awareness Week is this week, and the theme is movement.
Not eating cake.
I know. Do you know what? The irony, we're like, to be honest, a little bit of what you fancy definitely boosts your mental health. Sometimes I know that there's this vicious cycle, isn't there? When you're eating like high-fat foods and high-sugar foods, you can end up with an unhealthy body, and then you can end up feeling sluggish, and then you eat more of it because you're trying to look for the boost, and it can become problematic. But on the other hand, sometimes a little bit of cake, a little bit of chocolate, or, you know, that little bit of a treat, as it were.
Yeah. You're not overindulging.
Yeah, is the pick-me-up that you need. But yeah, the theme is moving more for our mental health, which you've been doing lots of this week, haven't you? Considering that you've got an injured back.
I wish I could say that was from skating. But
we should laugh.
Please laugh. Please, I have to.
That's how you know if you're old or not. When you fall over, if everybody laughs, then you know you're young. If everyone runs over like, oh my God, are you okay?
Are you alright?
Then you know you're old.
Yeah, I don't want that. I like laugh at me. Like, don't come and be like, are you okay? Actually, I'd rather you ignore me. Unless I'm like, hey, come help me, my bone's sticking through my face.
Yeah, just pretend you haven't even seen it. That's the answer to that.
It's not happening. So, started off with, I went to a local tennis court to try them on.
There she is.
And I was having a good time.
A roller skating queen.
In my head, I'm going so fast.
Do you know, I'd have just sped the video up. Like, look how fast I'm going.
Just put it on a loop, like I'm going around.
See the clouds going across the sky like that. Like, if you sped that up, I am so proud of you for doing this, because this was the New Year's resolution that you mentioned a couple of times on the lead up to New Year, and as we came into the New Year, I'm gonna skate, I'm gonna skate, I'm gonna skate. And then about 2 weeks ago or something, you mentioned it on the podcast that I've not bought my
Heard it.
skates yet, but I'm gonna do it. And then the next thing you know, you'd bought the skates. And this is the girl that procrastinates. So it's such a huge achievement to have not only bought them, but have been out on them, and not just once, twice.
And hurt myself and still doing it.
Yeah, and got another one planned. So, big moves.
Yeah, and I really appreciate you noticing that, because I am someone that gives up. I am someone that says I'm going to do something and don't do it.
Well, I think for you, it's like you probably just overthink it. You're thinking about the logistics of it. You talk yourself out of it a million times before you go for it. So it's like it's that kind of going
Yeah.
to the edge of the cliff and actually just taking the leap.
I think we learned, didn't we? That was just like, as we're on the stream, like the pink ones were there, and they had the Coca-Cola thing on, and they were 30 quid, and it was like, okay,
Yeah,
there's no excuse
yeah,
here.
the universe aligned. Hey,
All
Hannah's
you say.
saying we go roller skating every week. We love it. Oh, where do
That's
you
so
go,
cool.
Hannah? Do you go to the same place every week, or do you try out different places?
Yeah, please recommend any places. Me and Kat are looking for, because obviously I'm in Loughborough, so getting Kat, I'd have to go and get Kat, and then it's not like any of the girls can come with us. They've got their cars as well.
Yeah.
So I'm looking for places.
Yeah, I'm tempted to buy some, but on the other hand, I wanted to get some running trainers as well and start running again. I did say to Kat, I was like, well, if you're skating, I can be running next year. But then, or is it maybe that skating's just as good exercise? So do I just get the skates instead and just
The
start doing
inside
that?
of my legs, there's no exercise I've ever done that's affected that. Like I've
Yeah.
done pole dancing where you really do get like
Yeah,
all those
yeah.
crazy bits, don't you? I've never felt it. Almost feels like I've pulled a muscle. I've not.
Yeah.
I don't promise so, and I haven't. But when I lift my leg up, the inside of my leg is like, oh, I didn't know I could get that.
Yeah,
far, if
yeah.
you know what I mean. So yeah, go me.
I might go for it then. Well,
Roller skating every week at Roller World Derby.
yeah,
That's where we've been recommended. Haven't we?
yeah, we mentioned that, didn't we? Because we've had Donna, if you're watching, although I don't know if you do watch on YouTube, but if you are, we have seen your message and
Take you up on that offer.
yeah.
Same to you as well, Hannah. If you're there every week, then
Yeah, we'll have to time it.
yeah.
And then there is a huge open tarmac area in.
Oh, Shepshed. They used to do the Loughborough Leisure Centre one, didn't they? The skate group in Shepshed. I remember them being. I think COVID stopped them doing it there regularly.
I know Beaumont Leys Leisure Centre did open up, because they've got a huge gym area and they used to empty it out and open that up for roller skating. I don't know whether they still do.
Yeah, what I want to know is, can I you can hire these indoor courts out for badminton, tennis.
Oh,
it's
right,
not
okay.
that much. Can I hire them out for
Practice skating.
Yeah, if they're already being used for that. As long as you've got clean wheels, I don't really see what the problem should be. But I know it's easier said than done.
I'm pretty sure that the surface of that tennis court that you're on is the same surface as the courts at in Glenfield. So
yeah, it really wasn't like new AstroTurf. It was really old, and there was like weeds and stuff growing through it, but it was still way
yeah, smoother
than your average.
Beaumont Leys is closed because they can't get the insurance.
Oh.
And they've tried to hire sports halls as well. Red tape everywhere, isn't there?
I've been looking at it. The idea of roller skating in the UK seems really hard. There seems to be like no outdoor. In the places where I've seen like people that are teaching me on YouTube,
Yeah.
they're all in America and they've got these like huge open, like one place that they go to looks like where they have like open weddings where it's like under a marquee, but it's like one big huge dance floor where it's just like really like a stage floor. It's dead smooth like rubber and it looks so fun.
Maybe we're missing a trick there then, because there did used to be one. Granby Halls.
Granby Halls, my grandma talks about Granby.
Yeah, well, I'm going to say it's a huge, right up to my era. People spoke about going there, and then it closed down.
That's where the Tigers ground was.
I have no idea, because I didn't used to go. I wasn't, but a lot of my friends did, and talk about it with nostalgia.
Very cool. We're at Derby tomorrow, 7 to 11. Ooh. What, in the evening or in the morning?
Yeah, it must be because they'll take the lads as well when they're at school.
Oh,
Oh my gosh!
that's
Well, there you go. Maybe you and
interesting.
Kat could go then because she said it's got to be after 6, didn't she?
Yeah, that's not too bad. Can you get away from the kids that long? That could go wrong a world.
How exciting!
That'd be well cool.
So, in terms of movement for mental health, then you would recommend skating?
You know what? Yeah, as I'm doing it, I'm like,
Yeah.
what am I doing? I'm nearly 32. But it's fun. I didn't want to take them off. I think Kat was the same. She was like, keep this on. I think she has kept them on. In case you're wondering how Kat's getting on, I do have that video as well, and I highly recommend it. I think Kat's about to demonstrate right now as well.
I think that because we've done our New Year's resolution books, and mine was dancing, and I think between us we've actually given some really good examples like throughout the year of movement for mental health
They're
because
most different.
yeah, because like but Morris dancing when I started that it was almost just just try it because it's something to try.
I saw a post that was like, it's coming back. It's like
Oh,
being hip again. I was like,
yes,
yes,
it is.
help this movement.
I'm ahead of the always ahead of the wave, if you know what I mean.
Apparently, the amount of people celebrating May Day, like the May Day parade this year,
Oh
was
yeah,
so
step
many
up.
more in so many
Oh,
years.
I love that.
So yeah, it's cool again.
And even that, we literally just went along just to see what it was like.
Yeah.
But then the buzz was just something else because we were moving around and jigging around. And I think that's the thing that people underestimate is like just skipping or dancing or moving rather than just moving from A to B purposefully because you've got to be there.
Yeah.
It's like it releases so much and it shifts the energy blockages
Yeah.
as well.
So going through like the different areas of it you can get benefit. Physically, what benefits do you get from it?
Physically is muscle tone, strengthening the muscles and the bones.
Cardiovascular, right? You're constantly
Yeah,
moving.
lower your blood pressure.
Right, yeah. Happiness, the happy chemicals that are happening while you're doing it, lessening the stress.
Yeah,
And then psychologically, you've got your other thing. What's happening
confidence.
there? Getting confidence.
Yeah, that feeling of achievement.
Yeah.
Bonding with other humans, or if you're doing it with people.
There's also that social aspect where you're
Yeah.
like, oh my god, I belong to a group.
Yeah.
I'm responsible for this group, percentage of this group's dance, and I have to be here at certain times.
Yeah.
So, this
Part of
team
the
relies
team.
on me.
And
Yeah.
even as well, what I likened it to, going back to dancing, and this is still good because moving is boxing, but for ADHD brains, I always, whenever I ran, did boxing, did dancing, after I would feel lighter, physically lighter, as
Yeah.
in, things had shifted. But then when I did a bit of research, it's because it actually helps your brain shed neurons it doesn't need anymore and strengthen connections that it does.
Yeah.
So I'm not sure on the science why it does that, but
We
for
can
us
kind
in
of-
particular,
It's easy to see in dogs, don't you? If you don't take your dog for a walk, it
Yeah.
will rip your house apart.
yeah,
Obviously, we're a little bit more, we've got language and stuff like that, but we're really
I will
still.
rip the house apart.
Yeah, we are just animals at the end of the day. We need to be able to get those stress elements out, and they sometimes can't get out. Movement, this stores this trauma is stored by memory through
Yeah,
the body.
yeah.
It's not just deep psychological trauma. It is just stress. Your body holds on to it, and you know that if you can feel when you're stressed.
Yeah, you can feel it like in your muscles, yeah.
in your heart, in your
Yeah.
lungs, you might be getting stomach pains, you might be getting like butterflies, your legs might shake, your feet might be like, oh, your head just feels like it's pounding, you can get a really sore headache from it.
But even just having a good old shaking it off, and that's shaking down both arms, both legs, that can make you feel better after you've done it.
Taylor Swift knew what she was on about. Shake it off. It's really useful. But yeah, I think a core part of movement therapy, dance movement therapy, DMT sometimes, it's not to be confused with the drug.
Yeah.
It comes naturally when you die. The idea of moving and being able to, you can analyze how your own body feels as you move in front of people on your own. I remember there was a task that we did where one of us, it was a paired off challenge, where one of us was blindfolded and the other one was just the person that watched, just a spectator.
Yeah.
And if you felt like they were going to hit someone else, because there's like this bit happening all over the lecture theatre, you can kind of say, oh, we're like careful with them. And it was really interesting because the first moments, you can't see people. You'll know that someone's watching you, and you're like, you've been told to just do whatever feels natural. And I think the first time we did it multiple times, the first time I just sat there because any kind of movement felt like I was performing.
Yeah.
And it made me realize how much of our lives we perform when people are looking at us. When people aren't, you just like you're not the same person as when you're on your own.
Yeah.
And I feel like through having this kind of like physical acting part of our lives, you kind of lose touch of the actual person, and it can get really stressful. And I think the longer we spend away from that, I don't care what people think when they look at me, the more stress we're going to take on things. And just
so,
like,
do we all put blindfolds on then? Is that
do you know what? I recommend it. There was a few. I must try and think of all the exercises we did during that, because they were so interesting. There was a bit where we were all told to just walk wherever we wanted around the whole theatre, and we all naturally just start walking in a circle. There's the odd person that will do it, but it's still very mindful of everyone else.
Yeah.
It was really understanding that this idea of free will. Sure, I chose to walk this way. How much of it was dictated by someone else was about to walk that way, or someone was about to, and that made you.
It's like skipping though, isn't it? I'm coming back to skipping, because when we left the pub on Saturday, I skipped all the way. You and Anne had gone to the shop, but I skipped all the way back from the pub to the house.
Congratulations.
But just like chatting away while I was skipping. Yeah, and I love skipping, and obviously I'm blessed with a lack of embarrassment, caring what anyone's thinking. But
way more energy than everyone else.
But like, at some point you stop prattling about like a child and start acting like an adult, and that again is just societal expectations. But
it's that age restriction again.
Yeah, but it's like skipping's amazing. It's great for you. It makes you feel great.
And you skipped.
Can you imagine just like if I saw people just skipping along, I'd be so happy.
Have you seen that meme of like people asking people to skip who haven't skipped for years? There's like a challenge that I saw, and it was people in their like 60s, 50s, and their kids were putting cameras on going like, show me how you skip. Do you remember how to skip? And they were going, of course I remember how to skip. They go, go on then. And it's like, they've forgotten this very simple thing that you probably did more than walk or run as a kid.
Yeah.
And it baffles me. So if you feel like you've lost the ability to skip,
I want to see you all skipping out there. Yeah, I need to see you all skipping.
Oh, that's a nice add to the challenge, actually. Also, another skip.
Right, let's watch this for Kat, and then we'll talk about that challenge.
That's a good idea. So yeah, this is how Kat's been getting on. She sent us this today.
I love this little shows us what she can do.
When this happened, I'm like, what is about to happen?
She's going to do a jump.
So, I'm listening to my music while roller skating, while washing up, cleaning up, and baking cookies. Can you get any more ADHD than that? I don't know.
A little bit.
When you bring the cookies, because I'm like, yeah, you're roller skating, you're cleaning it, whatever. Oh, she's baking
and
as
she's
well.
baking as well.
Okay.
It reminds me of when I used to do like a good old house clean, and you'd go to put your washing away, so you go to your room, then you're like, oh, I know what I'll do is I'll sort that area out that I've not sorted out. So you start doing that, then you find some photos, so you sit down and watch the photo, look through the photos, then you realise you need a drink, so you go in the kitchen and you start doing the pots. Then you realise, before I'm going to do the pots, actually, I'm going to change the bin. Then you change the bin, and it's like you're just all over the place. But that does kind of work.
The best trick I've had is 3 boxes. One for bedroom, one for kitchen, one for living room. Generally, everything that's around the house will fit into them boxes. You go room to room, just putting them into the respective box, then each box gets delivered to that room.
Yeah.
Whether you unpack that box is another thing, whether you just end up with a load of bedroom
It's
boxes.
the activities you find along the way, though. Sometimes I'll find a book that I'm like, oh, and I'll sit down and I'll start looking through that book. It's like that bit that distracts me.
It's the novelty. It's like,
Yeah.
oh, and that's more interesting now. And oh, I've not looked at these photos for ages. And oh,
It's like,
I always said I could fix this.
yeah.
Go.
Every time I'm getting ready for the podcast, I suddenly, my room needs tidying. I could tidy my room whenever I wanted, but today I was getting really stressed because I was like so motivated to tidy my room because I knew I needed to come to the podcast. But like I say, it's novelty.
It's when you set yourself a plan. Hannah says, so me.
Yeah.
When you set yourself a plan in your head, it's not set in stone, but for some reason for you, you're like, well, no, I said I was going to do that today. And time goes on and you lose time. And you're like, but I have to do that. You forget how not important that task is.
Yeah.
You're like, well, it was just, something I've been wanting to do all week.
You imposed it anyway. Like,
yeah, it's...
Just let it go. Go with the flow.
Yeah, you don't need to be your own... What's the parole officer? Is it?
Yeah.
Yeah. You don't have to keep
head teacher
being so hard on yourself. Yeah, definitely.
What I find is, say if I've got a list of, I don't know, 5 things, or even like one thing that I wanted to do today, if I don't do that one thing, I'll really beat myself up and fail to notice that I did 10 things, other things that deserve celebrating or recognition. And to be honest though, since working with Sedge, I've got so much more aware and better at, at celebrating those things.
Yeah.
And just being like, just picking up on, hold on a minute.
It's so good to check yourself as well, because we naturally go to that negative assessment, that negative critique, and it's like, hold on, if you look at Google reviews or whatever, barely anyone leaves a review like, had the best meal.
Yeah, they only go on when they're like so angry.
Yeah, and it looks a bit more even now because people they'll ask you, can you review us, or you can get money off for certain reviews and stuff like that. But generally, when you make a review, it's not about the 5 customer service good experiences you got that day. It's going to be about that nasty one.
Complaint. All of us that have been waitresses know that how unfair that is.
A waitress is really hard as well because very rarely is it your fault.
Yeah,
you're taking the brunt of it, and you're just in the middle thinking like, I get where you're annoyed, but I also get why they couldn't fulfill what you wanted.
Yeah.
And you're in the middle just being like,
I remember we weren't meant to wear earrings as a waitress, but I'd got quite a few in. And because something had gone wrong when they made the complaint, they were like, and the waitress had more metal in her ear than ear. And then I got in so much trouble then for having extra earrings in. And it was like, cheers, mate. Never mind that I've ran that floor all night, worked my butt off for minimum wage, took everybody's bullshit over, this, that, and the other.
Yeah.
And all you had on me was that I had extra earrings in, and you've brought it to their attention, and now I'm getting told off for that, not praised for all the things that I did.
As if they weren't in your ear, they were going to bring you their food product.
Oh, it's like, well, they weren't in your dinner, were they? There's a good job they were in my ears.
Oh my god.
Roller skating is Friday.
Update, guys. No one go roller world tomorrow in Derby. Correction, Hannah's realised it's Friday, not tomorrow.
Yes,
See
I'm
you
going
there
to say, in case anybody was planning on going tomorrow.
I just imagine people turn up
waving their autograph books. But I wanted to meet the hosts.
Are we at that stage?
We are.
I feel like you are. On your Facebook is...
My TikTok.
And your TikTok?
Follow me. Right, challenge. Let's introduce the challenge then, and then we shall let you lovely people go. What was the ad hoc one that would? Oh yeah, skip. I want to see you skipping. I want to be tagged in those videos if you're skipping down the street. And I've got it in my diary because that was one, because I've been releasing a different video every day this week of different movement. So I've done walking.
Okay. Yeah.
I've done your skating video, and I've done dancing. And I've actually got shaking and skipping as my next 2. So I've got to find somewhere to video myself skipping along. So I will also bring myself into this challenge. I'm going to do it.
I thought you said shaking.
Yeah, shaking and skipping.
I want to see a video of shaking.
Well, Breathing with Grace inspired me, so I might stitch with her because...
That's a great idea.
Her video on TikTok of her shaking. I thought I did shaking till I saw her shaking, and I was like, wow. And in a way, it's kind of like that movement therapy thing.
Yeah.
When she said to do it in class, you could see which people were like, what? Yeah. I am not doing this.
Go with that social convention of but when you do this,
This
people
looks
think you're
weird,
crazy.
Yeah,
You're like,
and it does look weird, but it feels great.
I think this idea, we need to drop the word crazy.
Maybe
There are things that are actually crazy, but stop tuning really normal things as crazy. They might be a bit different.
Yeah, different. That's the word we all use.
Let's react to this. So, one thing we know about movement with us ADHDers, general neurodivergence, and all alike, to be fair, is the idea of implementing some sort of movement into your day. Maybe you struggle to have the time. Maybe you struggle to have
the novelty factor, the motivation,
the people to do it with you. Something simple like a walk is so good for us, and quite often we can look outside and be like, oh, and you talk yourself out of it. Like, how often do we actually just go for a walk just to have a walk these days? Not just like, I've got to go to the shops, so I'll go for a walk, sort of thing.
That is the thing I added in, I think it was March,
right?
My different guide, 20-minute walk. Because you do say to yourself, oh, I've not got time. Actually, you've got time to do that that's taking half an hour. So you've got time to do the walk. And I timed it. I could get around the around this block that's really nice in my area in 20 minutes flat. So I was like, I knew then that every time, oh, you've not got time. You have. It's 20 minutes.
Yeah, definitely.
And I make it the way I don't make content on that walk. I just allow myself just to think.
Completely mindful.
Yeah, mindful.
I think, you reminded me of something else as well that's gone out of my head now.
Done me a world of good.
It's gone. But to try and encourage you guys to go out for this next week, and for furthermore, obviously, is we've set this photography challenge. So the idea is for you to try and get all of these prompts. If you want to do it across, like, multiple pictures include the same thing, or putting multiple themes in one picture. Either way, the idea, this is bingo. Check them off to show that you've got them. And when you created them, tag us. Tag us on Instagram at Different Human Design UK. We can post on the podcast, tag the podcast, I'm trying to say. Oh my word. Calm down.
I think she's getting so excited.
Oh, just forgot to take pictures.
And they're like, right, I'm going to go and take some pictures. I'm excited. I'm definitely going to take part in this.
Me too. Literally. I saw, it was your post, wasn't it? I was like, oh, this would be quite a good idea. And you linked me like, mate, I already tried to do it.
Yeah.
And I was like, I love them.
Years ago.
So I've stolen a few, but like just changed them a little bit.
Yeah.
You got your 50 Shades of Green. Come on, we're in nature. There must be so many. But like, if you can find this on a more urban walk, that's really interesting too. There's going to be loads of different things that are green.
We're quite lucky, aren't we? We've got a lot of nature and green spaces around us where we are, but that doesn't mean to say that everybody's going to have.
Yeah, definitely. Maybe, you struggle in a way that you can't venture out too far from your house, in which case I'm sure these are going to be something that you can find.
It's a challenge. Yeah,
I love it. An animal, an insect, love that one. Something different. That's a little more ominous, free will.
Yeah, I like that, but it's abstract, isn't it? It gives you a chance to put your slant on it.
Yeah, do you prefer like the free reigny kind of open brief ones?
Yeah, I mean, even when we did art, when we were younger, and they'd give us the title, I would always try and find something abstract, even when the title was quite restrictive. I was like looking for a way to give it a.
Because I need it to be about something I'm interested in, else it's not going to be very good. So if I can like make it like typically fits that narrative.
Like when we did self-portrait, I painted myself and flopped onto some paper and printed it, so it was a self-portrait, but everyone else was presenting like, self-portrait, so you would expect them. I rolled out this nude body like, it's me.
Haven't got to look at the print of your nude body.
I know, it's only when I look back that I'm like, oh my God.
No, that's hilarious. I love that. A natural partnership.
I love that.
Quite ominous, but is it like maybe there's a supporting tree or something that
a spider in a web for some reason comes straight.
Yeah, definitely. It really needs that. Spiders only make homes in the most like structurally sound places, right? And I feel like that structurally sound bush.
Yeah.
And this web and the spider, it's a really lovely partnership. Maybe a vine that was growing up, something that's more urban or more natural.
a natural partnership, I'll just take a photo of Lou in her own garden in the morning because she's like literally like at one with that garden, but
Chatting to her plants.
yeah, just making it like a really safe space for all of those creatures to go wild.
Oh, I love that. There you go, Lou. Get your best look on in the morning. One morning she's gonna
Kill
catch
me
you
like
out there in a dressing gown.
yeah, exactly.
A cup of coffee. A fairy's home. I think this is interesting because it could be anywhere. Like, have you found some cute little nook? Like, just a flower petal. I don't know. One of my favourite Disney films is Thumbelina.
Oh yeah.
All like just how tiny she is and fits in all the I love it. So that makes me excited. A reflection. Is this
I like
of the self? Is this literal? I love it. Twins. Is there any spotting of twins out there? Obviously, the one that comes to my head, which is a terrible example, is the Twin Towers. But it's just an idea that there are two similar looking things, but these kind of structures are going to exist naturally and man-made in your region, I'm sure. In my dressing gown in the greenhouse.
Yeah, the natural partnership, Lou in her greenhouse.
Who's on board?
Yeah, she's laughing because she knows I wouldn't do it to her. She's like,
you dare.
Yes, next week's podcast.
Should be claiming the episode. No rights to show that. Absolute peace is one. I think this is like subject to each person as well. A natural purpose. Like, this is supposed to be there, but why? Again, it's so open, and I can't actually think of an example of this. I'm looking forward to going on a walk and seeing where that
thing, it gives you something to think about, doesn't it?
Yeah, if you've already thought of what you're going to take a picture before you've gone out, then you might as well just Google the picture.
I think we should next week then set aside a little time to go through some of the ones that people tag us in.
Yeah.
And we'll offer a prize.
Ooh. We like giving out prizes.
Yeah, but it's an incentive to get involved, isn't it? So anybody that gets involved, and even if they just do one of them, we'll call the names.
Yeah, definitely. Like, you're talking to us. We're not expecting anyone to succeed everything perfectly all the time. Just have fun with it.
Well, I love photography, so it's kind of like any excuse. Oh my god, I've just noticed the spelling error.
Oh, where?
In photography. You could get away with that though.
Oh, yeah, that was just me being hip. Getting rid of the
A.
Just it's supposed to be like that. Photo shoot with the strawberries and peas. Lou, I'm not joking. I want that.
Yeah, I really need to see that. For real, that'd be hilarious.
I would buy an entire calendar. Just you reviewing your different plants, just like picking them up to be like, this one could do better. This one is perfect.
I could do better. Could be greener.
Could be greener. But yeah, I'm going to post this onto the Instagram after we've finished here, so you can check back to it and tag us. Yeah, a different human design. Okay.
Excellent. So for the final part of the show then, we always shout out one of our lovely Patreon supporters. Thank you so much for everybody that has signed up. And this week, we will shout out Francis. We're kind of going from those that have, they're almost in order. So if you've not heard your name yet, stick with us. It will come up.
Yes.
Fran is my second cousin, my mum's cousin.
Shout
out. So that's why I thought it ties in quite nicely with us talking about mental health, and her job role is with supporting young people in their education.
Shout out, we love you. We love that.
Thank you so much for your support right from the start as well. Another one of our early days.
Means the world. Really, thank you to everyone that comes and watches us. Hits the like button, the subscribe button.
Oh yeah, good one.
We hit like. We really like it.
Hit like on the episode.
If you want to get involved yourself and you can speak Spanish, you can join this.
And this grips the arm.
We're getting more members. This is really fun. So yeah, these are the different categories that you can join. It's all very cool.
Yep, and you get everybody that signs up will eventually get a shout out on the podcast. And everybody that signs up also gets included in our monthly prize draw as well. So you get a chance to win a prize every single month. So there's loads of benefits in it for you too. And we thoroughly appreciate all of your support.
We really do. I'll put the link to the Patreon in the chat. And then I suppose just let people go.
Yes. Thank you so much for joining us, everybody. And I can't wait to see some of your photos and even to hear about some of the updates from skating as well.
We've got some fun updates. What's the next Morris dancing? When will that be?
In a couple of weeks. I think it's June, early June. It's on a Tuesday, and I think it's in a place called Tilton.
Tilton. Oh my
Tilton.
God. Near Queneborough.
I have no idea. I've never been.
Tilton on the Hill. I spent many a childhood there.
Oh, really?
My God family, non-religious God family.
Oh, yeah. No, I'm sure it's on a Tuesday night in a couple of weeks. So I'll have to let you know, and you can sit at a pub. So if anyone wants to come along and have a drink and watch me shake my bells,
get us a newspaper with eyes holes cut into it.
be like, there she is.
Or I'll just let you know that I'm there. Not be weird about it.
We love weird. We love weird.
And on that note of being weird, this is Lindsay.
And this is Steph.
We're a different human design.
And this is a different podcast. Good night.
Why is it like this? Instead of hate, it should be love, we invite it. Righteous. Why is it like this? Instead of hate, it should be love, we invite